And we're back. We're back at the Railway Museum in Utrecht, and we've been joined by Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, in this packed room, which is really wonderful to see. You don't see that too often, Magnus. Rooms like this filled with chess fans who came from all over the country.
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
There you go. So you defended your lead today. Did you think there might be chances to hope for more? I mean, what were your thoughts today?
Well, first of all, I'm really ashamed of the way I played the opening. I mean,
this one,
yeah. First of all, my idea was. Of course, I didn't remember anything about this line, and then my idea was to go DC here, but then I don't even know why I didn't do that. But I mean, C6 we just have a normal position, and I'm approximately a tempo down. It's still very solid, but it's just not the way one should play chess.
So it's his taking on C3, which Jan criticized. He said that's. Maybe
I think at least I need to follow it up with DC. You know, so. What?
This one, you can move the pieces.
This one? Yeah, like this. And then if he takes with the queen, C6, and idea is knight D7, E5, so maybe. Something like E4 and B6, I don't know, but and also there were other options like E3, but then I wanted to go C5 at least. It would make a little bit of sense what I'm doing. But here, yeah, again it's still quite solid. He had many plans. Like one was to go C5 and castles. I don't know where the bishop is best placed. Let's say bishop d3, and if rook e8, maybe he goes knight e5. And there are some dangers strategically for black. I mean, even after what he played, I think any tries he has should be connected with the move knight to e5. So he didn't want to allow castles b6, and then if I get bishop b7, then even if you get some b4 stuff, I should gradually equalize. But then these were the lines that I was considering, and I can hope to gradually equalize. But I mean, what he played was not very impressive, so still it could be a little bit better, but then.
But you're condemned to passivity, or it's difficult to read?
Yeah, I guess when we have this position, this is already an achievement for me, since this feels like this is normal, while it should have been worse. But now, I don't know. I guess he was even concerned about some C4 ideas for me, so he didn't see anything clear, so he just decided to chop everything off. But
not too inspiring to your mind.
No, I was happy about it. I mean, not at this point. I thought anyway I was alright, but a little bit before I thought there were some dangers for me.
But what was your mental disposition before the game? Were you hoping for a long fight where at some point you might take your chances, or how do you approach such a game?
I mean, there haven't been many long fights with Anish when I'm playing black, so he doesn't allow me, and I mean he's very solid, so it's hard to do something.
Yeah, in fact, you mean the onus is on him to show something if you're white.
Yeah, and I think also today he should have gotten an advantage for free, but he didn't really use it. So.
Yeah. And let's say if you look at the tournament situation, this is fine.
Yeah, of course. He was 1.5 points behind, so he stays that way. It's very, very good.
Well, you've often said when you were in, let's say, impossible situations where you were really trailing and you had to catch up with people, and you said, well, I only consider a tournament that I give up the fight if it's no longer theoretically possible. When do you consider a tournament to be won?
If you're going to say, ask me whether Anish still has any chances, then I would say that the rules are well, my rules are different from me than from other people.
Yeah.
But
No, I wasn't going.
No, a tournament is not won until it's won. So,
is Fabiano the only one you see as a possible threat, or?
Well, I mean, suppose he wins today, he's by far the closest. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And well, this more or less leads us to the upcoming candidates, where a challenger will be determined for you. Who do you see as the big favorites there?
Well, I don't think. I think talking about the big favorite there would just be wrong, because the field is very even. So, so I simply have no idea, and for that reason, I'm only really thinking about the World Championship match once a challenger is determined, and again, who that's going to be, I don't know.
Yeah, any speculation now doesn't make too much sense.
Yeah, it's just a very even field. Like 3 years ago, I was the favorite. Last time, I guess Levon was the favorite based on his recent results, and this time, no, not really.
And you were even probably the big favorite then, and it was by a hair's breadth.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to win such a tournament on demand, of course. And especially since it's so long, so you can do everything right for 10 rounds, and then just you can go up in smoke.
So maybe we should talk about this tournament. You had a slow start, and then you played some games where I got the feeling that you were having fun. I mean, you're
sure.
Playing the chess that you enjoy to play. Where does it suddenly come from? How does that happen?
No, I mean, I just try to play, and usually in every tournament there are going to be draws. There are probably going to be some boring draws. And whether those come at the start or at the end, it doesn't really matter that much. So, I mean, being 1 point behind could have been more, and making a few draws at the start, it just doesn't bother me at all. But I was having some fun in a few of the games, especially in the game against Tomaszewski. Then I was really not even calculating much, just throwing everything at him, and well, my intuition said that it worked, and it probably did. So.
Well, you were slightly cross with yourself yesterday, that you more or less indicated you could have won quicker. Is that something that bothers you, or you think, well, I won anyway?
No, I mean, what bothered me most is that I wasn't seeing a whole lot of things in that whole game. So, but I didn't actually play so badly, I think. So.
When you gave it some second thought, it was better than you thought immediately after the game, or?
Just again, it was not so much the moves that I made; it was things that I missed, and those don't always show up.
Well, you were always very critical of yourself. Last year there were some phases where things were not entirely going your way. Are you in a fight with yourself then? I mean, is that something that you've overcome now?
No, I think I'm playing a bit better than I was last year. So, but in general, if I'm not playing well, even if the results are good, then I'm not so happy. But this year, I've been playing okay. so everything is good.
Yeah.
Maybe we should see some other games.
Yeah,
like
that's a very good
ones
plan.
that were ones that were more interesting than mine.
Let's watch some set. Shall we have a look at Fabiano's game?
Yeah,
close
so
that
we
one.
should close this one. Fabiano Corona against Wei. Wow. Okay, so yeah. So Wei is not going down meekly. I thought after d5 the white is just doing very well. Like if he takes, then queen takes, and his endgame must be very good. But no, this I like better. Like for black, it might still be very bad, but he gets some activity, and the knight is not so great now. So, but I suspect that white is still doing very well. Like c7, bishop to b6, and knight going to e3. Can just give up the king side more or less because his pawn is very strong.
So it looks very promising for.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, probably this is a best try for black. But yeah, I wouldn't put any money on black here. That was an interesting opening. Like bishop c2 is very, very rare, and
What do you think?
it's. I think the way he played was definitely not the most principled, but it's hard to play very principled when you get faced with what is at least a near novelty. So, like in this, I mean, I would consider just going to have some potential counterplay on the king side.
All right. So this was one of the games you were following in the corner of your eye during your own game.
Yeah, I mean, it was both for the tournament standing. It was important, theoretically probably important, and in terms of chess content, interesting. So
What did you think his plan was after h3 if he takes on f3?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume he was going to take with a pawn.
Yeah. And that should be
Knight c5 and f4. But I don't think it's great.
No? It's just the position, or
Yeah. It might be good, but like if black was in time to castle and play f5 two moves, then I think it should be fine. Or g6 maybe then f5. Unless queen f3, rook d1 is coming, then queen d7. I mean, I've definitely seen worse open real opus than this. Actually, it's a little bit tricky. Like b4,
now that
bishop b3. It's interesting. But I don't know what's happened after. He's probably still thinking, yeah? Well, he has oceans of time, so
yeah.
he's probably going to ponder this one for a little bit.
Any other games that attracted your attention?
Yeah, there's this one is, I mean, this is not the best London system I've seen for sure. Like, I mean, I don't understand what his idea was here, Karyakin, to be honest. So, like now, I mean, my intuition tells me that black is the white is just getting mated on the king side. I mean, on the queen side. So yeah, I think. I mean, strategically, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe he thought that he'd have his chances after Adams lost yesterday again. Is that something that plays a role if somebody's playing badly, that you might choose a plan that doesn't really
Yeah,
work out?
but I mean, there must have been something he missed, because it looks like here it's not even close to working. You must have missed. There is always some detail. I mean, Karyakin doesn't just go for a position that looks so bad without having missed something.
Yeah, that's your explanation. He must have missed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, good for Mickey.
Yeah.
Well, in case he wins. If he doesn't win, then he won't be very happy. But
Yeah. Well, you've been doing great against Mickey. Well, for many games.
yes.
Has that turned into something psychological from his part, you think?
Yeah, I think he finds it hard to play against me. So he doesn't take his chances as well as he can sometimes. So.
And you think it's more that way than the other way around, that you also find it pleasant to play against him, but it's more that he finds it unpleasant against you?
Well, I just play, so
Yeah.
and I know I can beat him. I've done it before. So
Yeah.
this one is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a system that nobody plays anymore with black, and yeah. In general, positionally, white is a little bit better. So. So Luke has to find counterplay, and this Rook D1 is a cool move. Like, I mean, with white I'd be looking at takes, knight A4 stuff, probably not very good. G4, then knight E5, but yeah.
Well,
I don't think Luke is too happy here.
Yeah. No, but
It might be good, it might be bad, but I think he's happy with the chances he's got.
yeah, but talking about psychology, I mean, they played a game here last year where Luke was totally winning, and he even managed to lose that in the end. Is
Yeah, that
something
was a
doesn't-
fun one.
That probably doesn't help.
No, I think it helps Luke. I mean, he knows that he can outplay him even with black,
Yeah.
like he did last year. So, yeah. But it's just hard to find a starting point for where to calculate from here.
Well, last year we talked about the Chinese players a bit, Magnus, and how do you feel that they developed in the past year? Like Wei Yi, do you see that he's making progress, or will it take a lot longer?
Yeah, he's making progress. He's been fairly solid here. Not too spectacular, but just to not to lose any games in 9 rounds against this opposition. 16-year-olds, that's pretty impressive.
You think he might have been too cautious, or it's not bad to...
No, I don't think so, because he's been pressured in many games, so it's been a matter of good defense rather than being too cautious.
And we briefly spoke about that here. You think that Ding Liren is still number 1 in China?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's...
Very accomplished player.
yeah, I think now Yu Yangyi is also very good, but Ding is the one with the best results.
Yeah. Well, you've come to Wagense many times. How does a tournament like Wagense compare to the tournament you played in Qatar, which is an open, but which at a certain point also just becomes a strong tournament? What are the differences for you?
Well, I don't know.
Nothing in particular.
I mean, I just play, but no.
Yeah. Well, you had a difficult start there. Did that upset you, or you thought, okay, this is part of the deal?
Okay, it's one game, first round, so I played pretty badly in the second game as well. So if I'd lost that one, then we would have been in trouble. But I mean, I've been in the game for far too long to worry about the draw in the first round. Like that's not an issue.
Yeah, you've had some modest starts before.
Yeah, I mean it just decreases the margin of error a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all.
Are you ready to take a couple of questions from the audience? Is there anyone? Just 3? Shall we do 3 questions?
Yeah, if people have them.
Oh yeah. There must be at least one question. Is there anyone who has a question for Magnus Carlsen? This is your moment.
If not, that's okay.
If not,
When you were analyzing just now your game with Giri, you said a lot of maybe I should have played this, I don't know, maybe you should play, I don't know. When we mortals say we don't know, it justifies. But you as a world champion, you as a world, I don't know. I knew you should know.
No, I think.
I should briefly repeat this for the internet audience because they don't hear it. So the question is about Magnus explaining his game against Giri and often saying that he didn't know or wasn't entirely certain. And the question is to what extent that is true.
Well, sometimes when I say I don't know, I'm almost sure, but I'm not completely sure. But a lot of the times, yeah, I simply don't know, and chess is a difficult game. So I think I think it's just good to admit to yourself that you don't know. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't presume to know everything about chess. That's the point. So I think always when you talk about anything, saying I don't know is a very healthy sign. If you have too strong opinions, then you're probably wrong.
Yeah. So it's just taking a pause before you continue to speak about something. It's a safe starting point. Well, let's begin with I don't know, and then maybe it isn't all that bad.
Yeah, but usually I don't know. Like I have an idea, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. So when I don't know for sure, then I say I don't know.
Okay. Good. Is there another question? At the back, you have to shout. Okay, so yeah, you've already achieved an awful lot and maybe even everything, but what are the challenges that you still see?
Well, there are certain players that I haven't beaten yet that I want to beat. Not going to mention names.
You simply don't know.
Well, I do. I do know.
Yeah.
But
is it getting annoying or
no. I mean, of course it is, but what can you do?
Yeah.
So no, I think still a lot to learn, but at least now I feel like I'm playing all right. So obviously, like a couple of months ago, they were clear that there were many challenges for me. Now there are fewer, but still the most important one, which is to keep learning, is there.
Mm-hmm. So you feel you overcame some problems? Or
well, I'm playing better chess, that's for sure.
Yeah, which is quite something. Yeah. If you're a chess professional.
Yeah, I mean that's the main goal of what we're doing. So.
Okay, a third question from. Come on, this is your chance. Yeah.
Yeah, there's many draws in such a tournament. Do you think it would be more fun if the time you play, the time you get for a game is shorter, so that someone would win more often?
Okay, so this is about the number of draws in the tournament, and if that could be, well, that situation could be improved if we play faster.
Yeah, obviously, if you play faster games, there will be fewer draws. There will be more fights, but also the quality will obviously suffer a lot. And for me, I very much enjoy playing tournaments with faster time controls. But then it's also very nice to get back to playing actual classical chess when I feel that I have at least some control over the quality of my games. It's just while it's perhaps exciting is not the right word. It's just very nice to have time to think, to properly make both strategical and tactical decisions. And I don't think there have been that many draws in this tournament. I wouldn't presume to know the percentage, but I think there's been an awful lot of interesting games. And well, there was one draw. Well, there was perhaps the second round, which was quite boring. But apart from that, it's been a lot of fights. And for me, I played 6 draws in 10 rounds, which is, I mean, it's not very little, but it's not. Could have been much worse as well. So, yeah.
Well,
so I think it seems that every year, I can say that the organizer seems to put up a field that is very fighting, and I think this year has not been an exception. Obviously, if you want to make the rules different, there will be fewer draws, but yeah. But I think there's a very good balance here.
Yeah, it would come at a cost. It's,
yeah, I mean, I think the tournaments with faster time control are fun to play, but there's a very nice tradition here, and I think it's better to be kept that way.
Yeah. Is that the reason why you have come back so often? I mean, it's a tournament that appeals to you, simply said.
Yeah, for sure, and every year it's very interesting from a sporting perspective as well.
Yeah. Great, Magnus. Well, if I sum up some of the things, I mean, you're saying about, I mean, the way you love the classical chess, and you almost feel like, I mean, you come across as a servant of the game. I mean, you have respect for the game, always. Is that something?
No, not always, but most of the time.
when did you?
No, sometimes, like, sometimes, you know, I gamble, bluff sometimes during the games, but I do enjoy playing good, correct chess as well, and I think that is still a core part of what we're doing.
Because that's interesting. That I thought when I was talking to Jan about your game against Luc van Wely, and I said, well, he was also creating his luck, but Jan was severe towards me. He said, well, in fact, he overdid it, and I don't think he was that proud in the end about the gamble that you took, that it was a gamble.
Of course, I wasn't proud. And no, if I'd seen that he could have won in a few moves, then I wouldn't have gone for it. So I thought that I was taking a bit of a risk, but I didn't think I was taking nearly as huge a risk as I was. So it was just ignorance more than, I mean, I thought I was taking a calculated risk, and it just turned out to be way too much. So I would absolutely agree with Jan on that. Yeah,
very good.
And those are not the games that I'm proud of. They are fun, but not the stuff that makes a champion.
No. Okay, well, wonderful. It was great to have you here, Magnus, and lots of success in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
We take a very brief break because we have to rearrange things. Then Anish will be here, if I understand correctly, and he's going to talk to Jan. Okay, very good. So stay with us, and Magnus Carlsen, thank you very much.
Thank you.